Hey, let me tell you something.
Huh?
Is it true that you have good grades?
What?
Is it true you have good grades?
No, what are you talking about?
Okay. Do you eat dogs?
Wait, what? What kind of question is that?
Never mind. That was kind of stupid. Do you want to be a doctor when you grow up?
Dude, are you being racist to me right now, dude?
Maybe.
Freeze. Nowadays, many stereotypical myths and misunderstandings in our culture is made in many areas around the world. This was an example of someone who uses our stereotypical culture and misunderstands me and defines me through what they hear and spread around. With that said, my culture does not define me because I do not have all the Asian stereotypical myths, and I am not a prodigy, nor do I have the best grades, and I do not want to be a doctor or a lawyer. Stereotypical myths are made through news, film, and culture. Because of that, society defines me through what they think, see, and hear. For example, Bill O'Reilly on the news made racist Asian comments on the air on Fox News when he asked for their political views on Donald Trump.
Am I supposed to bow to say hello?
I really don't want to vote for Trump, so Hillary,
So China can keep ripping us off.
I guess.
Is everything made in China now?
Not everything.
Tell me what's not made in China.
I can't think of it right now.
China, America's friend or enemy?
China, America, of course, are friends.
Can you guys take care of North Korea for us?
Wow, that is
Sweep the leg.
Do you know karate?
Yeah, I know.
Hit my hand. That's nothing.
Okay.
Okay, one.
Many news channels have had histories of throwing subtle or obvious racism jokes on the news and being looked down upon for it. This one news segment was one of the many, and it shows how news channels and other people in society portray Asians because of what they think is funny and true according to films and other news relating to Asians. Because of that, many Asians like me deal with hearing stereotypical statements. However, even if I have to face people who joke around about my culture, it does not define who I am and what they assume I'm like as a person. Asian Americans have dealt with racism just as much as other ethnicities have, or almost just as much. Because of what Asians went through, stereotypical myths were created and used against Asians during beatings or just passing by in the streets. From the History of Anti-Asian Racism, written by Leland Pan, it states that Chinese Americans, along with other ethnic groups like Filipino Americans, were believed that they were cheap laborers undercutting honest American workers, and they would bring them with violence and drugs. They even feared Asian men would steal white women. White Americans lynched Chinese and Filipino Americans. Back then, it wasn't as recognized, but Asian Americans were mistreated using racial slurs and racism when they first came to the United States. Most Asians just dealt with racial slurs that were false, but some were physically beaten, lynched, and insulted at. And those insults do not define me because I set my own norms, I set my own rules, and I am my own person that does not let others define me. When Asian kids grew up, they've had strict Asian parents who taught them why it is so important to be perfect and why they should have straight A's. Not every student, however, can have those easily, because not every student can pass easily and have the same learning speed and pace as those who are naturally gifted. My parents wanted the best for me, but them defining who I am and expecting me to be that perfect Asian prodigy student does not truly define who I am and what I want to be as a person. I have my own pace, and I have my own speed at learning, and I am perfect in my own way and vision, because I know I am working hard enough to get to where I want to be and where I need to be. It was always just a given, like work hard now and get into a good college. That was what Kim said at the age of 24, attending Harvard and going through the stress and struggle of being the perfect Asian student. Kim, for her whole life as a student, tried to achieve that perfect student look, and once she attended Harvard, her first test was a D. This threatened her identity and what she thought she was in this article, Behind the Model Minority Myth, Why the Studious Asian Stereotype Hurts, by Chris Fuchs. The article states, as the characterization goes, Asians do well because they're part of a group of nationally high achievers who are highly educated and highly successful. This shows how, because we are a model minority group, it defines who we are and forces us to follow it due to the pressure given to us. However, not every Asian is perfect. A lot of Asian students struggle just as much as other students do. and cannot achieve that perfection everyone expects every Asian to.
Hi, Mom.
Hi, son.
So is it okay if I can talk to you about something?
I know.
So I wanted to be a police officer.
Why you want to be a police officer? That dangerous. It get you killed. Become doctor anyway. You get lots of money.
But I don't want to do it for the money. I want to do something that makes me happy.
You will be happy, and I will be happy too, because I get a lot of money from you. I get to show you off in front of my cousins and your cousins with the Gucci belt. You know how expensive that is.
Yeah, but I don't want to do something because like I don't want to be the only doctor.
Okay, listen here. Our entire family is doctor. Your cousin is doctor. Your brother is doctor. And you know your baby brother? He's gonna be doctor.
That's not possible.
Yes, it is. Because I already chose it.
Not all Asians have to follow the role and culture of joining the medical field because of their culture and ethnicity. Asians have their own interests, and so do other kids.
52.3% of Asians aged 25 or older have a bachelor's degree or higher level education. 49.1% of employed Asians 16 or older work in management, professional, and related occupation. And as recently as a few years ago, just over 6% of all medical students were black, 8% were Latino, 20% Asian, and 58% were white.
It's true that Asians comprise of one of the largest numbers of doctors in the medical field. However, it still doesn't have to be a required norm or tradition to be a doctor in our culture. Because our culture expects highly of each other, we can't be what makes us happy. Instead, we end up being what our parents want us to do according to the tradition. I, however, choose not to follow that tradition. I chose to be in the law enforcement, and I'd rather follow the expectation than our culture. Unbreeze.
You're close.
Hey man, you can't be doing that and saying that about my culture, okay? I am my own person, and you can't tell me what to do, okay?
Okay.